Hey folks, it's your main man E here with Follow the Leader Canine, and I wanted to do a video with a case that's pretty unique here. His name's Mac, and he spent a long time in the shelter. He was a dog that was young when he got in the shelter and deteriorated in the shelter. And fortunately, my client adopted him and has been working with him extensively. So I wanted to just kind of go over a training session and just kind of narrate my process as a trainer here based on my experience. So first thing I do is I ensure that he's calm to begin with when he comes out and he begins the session. So he was in the crate at one point and he was barking. We use a citronella spray and he stopped barking, and then I brought him out. I just didn't want him thinking that him barking was going to lead to me getting him out and spending time with him, because this dog's very relationship based. I knew that me just spending time with him is a huge reward. So first thing I do is I pull out food and I just see how's his food motivation today. And what I notice is his food motivation is not present. This is very common where dogs will take food when it's convenient for them, but when there is a certain level of the distraction, the dog will not be enthusiastic about food, to say the least. In a perfect world, I want a dog always enthusiastic about food all the time. And the way we do that is we consistently challenge the dog to get food, and we consistently don't give them food if they don't live up to the challenge or perform the task. So like right now, for example, I offered him food and he didn't take the food. So for the remainder of this session, I will not offer any more food. But if I offer food and he doesn't take it, and then 2 minutes later he's like, hey man, I want food now, and I start pumping him full of food, he's going to think that basically, the restaurant, which is my treat pouch, opens and closes whenever Mac decides. I really need him to understand, no, Mac, whenever I have food, that's feeding time and you got to pay attention. So he's honestly doing really good here, just hanging out on his slip lead and being calm next to me, which I like to see. You notice how I do these little pops to get his attention? That's a part of using a leash that oftentimes is overlooked by people. Either they haven't had success doing the leash pop because they've done it when the dog was too distracted, or perhaps they're not doing it in the right way. And so when I give a leash pop, I oftentimes do 2 or 3 or 4 to ensure that the dog is understanding directionally what I'm asking them to do. And so just popping the leash like this, and getting him to move in one direction is going to help him. So if one day he's distracted and I pop the leash, he's going to know, oh, turn away from that thing and change directions. Now, you saw me there wanting to give him food because he's come around here and he looked a little bit interested in food, but he wasn't quite interested in enough where I'm going to pull out food, considering the fact that 2 minutes ago he didn't want any food. Let's go. Good boy, good. So this basic leash skill, no, good. Of just not walking in a direction that he believes I'm going to walk in is probably one of the most important things you can do with any dog if you're working on getting them to be engaged with you and not distracted while on a leash. So just going in the opposite direction of him is actually a really important exercise, not only for him but for me, because it allows me to really focus on that sensation in my hand of leash pressure and understand almost instinctively how much pressure I need to use with the dog. Now, here we've run into an impasse. He smells some pee or something on the ground, so he put the brakes on. I'm just waiting him out. I didn't use the leash pop there because I knew he was so committed to smelling that pee that the leash pop wasn't really going to get through to him on a slip lead. Now, this could be a dog that a different training tool could help with, perhaps a prong collar. We know the Halti has had success with him. However, I haven't seen the type of success I typically would like to see with the Halti, which is the dog just being super calm whenever they're wearing the Halti. Good boy. I'm purposefully walking him over towards this car because it's a low-level distraction to pop the leash, move away. And do you see how when I move away, he keeps focusing on the thing over there? Good boy. That really lends itself to this idea that this could be a motivation issue. Why is that? Because, I do have food, and I know I haven't given him food earlier, but a dog that has a high level of food motivation, when I pop that leash, is going to look back at me and go, hey man, you got some food? And in the next session I do with him, In the afternoon, I will integrate that food more, perhaps get some high value food. But we must remember that building food motivation always starts with building food motivation with the food that the dog eats every day for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And that could be higher value food, like my dog eats frozen meat patties. Or you could use Ziwi Peak, you could use real meat, you could use some sort of high value food you feed the dog. But the important thing is the food they get every day for breakfast and dinner is what they're willing to really focus on around distractions. Mac, leave it. Good. Good. Mac. Good. Now, I know earlier I said I wasn't going to give him any food. I actually lied. And it broke my own rule here because he is coming around now asking for food. And I do want to acknowledge that he is offering me some attention, and that is good. And so also leading into what I was talking about connecting the leash to the food, this gives me an opportunity to kind of demonstrate this for Mac's people. Okay? Which is this idea that the leash is connected to the food. Mac. Yes. Good boy. Leave it. Yes. Let's go. Leave it. Yes. Break. Break. Leave it. Yes. Break. Leave it. Yes. So I'm just giving a very subtle tug every time. Break. Leave it. Tug. Yes. Break. Leave it. Tug. Yes. Break. Leave it. Tug. Yes. Now, I'm just saying tug for people watching the video. That's the only reason I'm saying that, is I'm saying leave it. I'm tugging the leash. Yes. And then when he starts coming over to me on his own, I'm saying yes. And he's coming over and he's getting some food. Good boy. Sit. Good. Sit. Good. Now, it's important for you to realize I am using just a slip lead here. When I use the Halti, I actually prefer to not use much food. I really want the Halti being much more about, hey, you're just calming down and following my lead and following the pressure of the leash more than, hey, I want you to get excited around food. And with a dog like him, he can get so excited around food, it can kind of cause a conflict where you put the Halti on and then a dog like this is like, yeah, let's do something. And it's like, I'm actually saying just calm down and just be. So let's use some leash pressure here. Leave it. Sit. Release the leash. Good. Now I'm just using 2 fingers to hold this leash. Let's go. I have pretty strong hands, so I don't need to use my whole hand to grip this leash. But more importantly, I want to help you realize that. Sit. Good. I'm using varying degrees of leash pressure, and I don't always want to be forcing the dog with the leash. However, I also don't only want to be using the leash at a very light level of pressure. By holding the leash with 2 fingers, it gives me more of an idea of how hard I'm pulling on the leash. If I have the leash like wrapped around my hand like this, it's a lot harder to tell how hard and how softly I'm pulling. Good. Good. Now, you hear me saying good here, but he's not looking up at me, so I'm definitely not going to give him any food. No. Sit. Good. Now that he sits and he looks up at me, I'm like, yeah, cool, dude. Look up at me. I'll give you food. It's really important with food that we're being strategic and thinking about, hey, are we trying to use food to build confidence and help a dog be more interested in things away from us? Or are we using food to help the dog pay more attention to us and be less distracted? Good. When I'm tossing food and having him go away from me, yeah, I am practicing him going away from me to come back when called. Leave it. No. No. Leave it. Yes. Here you could see his interest in food is waned. I closed the pouch. I'm not giving any more food for the session. Like, I called him back to me. I said the marker word. He didn't even look at me at all. To me, that's just the end of using food in the session. And this is why, like, had I not been videoing, I would have done it in a separate session. I would have put him away, Pulled him out again later. No, sit. Put him in a session, put him in away, pulled him out later again, and then said, hey man, do you want to work with food now? Because you can see I started working with him with food, and after like 20 food rewards, he's like, yeah, whatever. So, and this is why earlier I was saying typically if the dog's not interested in food, I'm not presenting food at all during that period of time that I spend with the dog. I want them to know, like, if mom or dad is around me and I want food, as soon as I notice they have food, or even if they don't have food, I'm giving them my undivided attention. And if they ever offer me food, it's really important that I take that food with enthusiasm. Because that lets them know I'm ready for an adventure. I'm ready for a walk. I'm ready to be exposed to stuff because I'm willing to take treats. Not just treats and not just willing to take them, but I'm actually enthusiastic about food. I'm a little bit obsessive about food. So we might end the session on this note right here. Sit. No. Sit. Good. No. Sit. Because you can see what's happening here. And the thing I'm kind of working through with Mac is this kind of contingency. Like, hey, he's kind of telling me, hey man, when I want the food, I'm willing to do what you're asking me to do. But if you don't give me food, or if I don't want the food, I'm not really going to do what you're asking me to do. I'm kind of just going to wander off into the sunset with my nose, which is fine. And if we want to do nose work with him, scent work with him, that's totally great. But that would be something where you go, Mac, now's the time to go find a scent, and we do nose work with the dog like this. Even if we said, hey, now we're going to go down to a field, and now it's time to smell, and we put him on a long line, okay, great, man, no problem. Or we say break, and it's time to smell like this. Break! So I'll let him smell here, let him smell the yard. And there's nothing wrong with that being a reward. Like, the dog listened to me, he calmed down, he responded well to my leash, and then now the reward is, hey man, I'll follow you around. You want to smell the yard? No problem. It's not about being controlling over the dog. It's just about being consistent and continuously, making that next step in the training program that leads the dog to getting better every single day, or at least every week. And if we're not seeing that progress, like a marked, clear progress, to, be quick to change what we're doing or to reassess what we're doing because we might not be doing it right. No, leave it. Now, in this case, I can't walk down there because I don't want the microphone to cut out. No, leave it. And even if he is smelling and I'm following him around, he still can't be allowed to put on the brakes and like pull me around like he was just attempting to do. Now for me, it's a little bit easier to do with him on a slip lead because I'm 200 and plus pounds. And something to consider might be, potentially trying a prong collar and seeing how it does with him. With dogs like this, prong collars can be really easy to work with, or sometimes it can require a lot of work to get the prong collar to make sense when the dog's super excited. These types of dogs, when they get excited, when they get aroused, they tend to ignore physical sensations. Good job, buddy. So that behavior right there where he smelled something and he pulled and he is hoping, I'm going to give in, I'm not going to give in. And one workaround to make myself have a little more leverage is just hold the leash like this in my center with both hands. Like I said, I have no problem following the dog around. I just have to have the sequence be clear. Hey man, I'm initiating a follow and the leash is loose, not you're pulling and tightening the leash up and then I'm giving in. So we're going to end the session here because somebody just showed up. But actually, I think what we'll do is let's work him through this so you guys can see how he does here. No, sit. No, sit. You're good. So I'm going to transition to his halty here because I know that he's going to be excited to see Katya. And I don't want him to have that level of excitement with her because it can undermine the relationship. He sees her and he's just like, oh my God, yeah, we're going to Disneyland. It's like, Mac, we're not going to Disneyland. I got to go to sleep, dude. I gotta go to the bathroom. Mac, I gotta go to lunch right now. He might be disappointed then. So I love the dog getting excited when I want him excited. I mean, there's nothing I want more than me to tell my dog, hey, we're gonna get excited, and my dog's freaking going crazy. But I want it to be clear, hey man, there's a time and a place to get excited. Maybe it's because I have the ball out, maybe because I let you off leash, maybe because we're gonna do scent detection, nose work, maybe we're gonna play tug. Maybe it is zoomies in the house, but I'm initiating it and I'm like, yeah, let's go. There's nothing wrong even with me saying, who's there? And my dog goes charging down to the gate barking. Nothing wrong with my dog getting excited. It's just important that I'm clear with them, hey, I need you and me to initiate this level of excitement together. Now, look at how he's doing after this session we just did, okay? The leash is super loose. He's wearing his halty or his sidekick, but he's not even going up to anybody at all. Let's see how he does when he walks here with him, and we go over to Katya and greet. Hey, Katya, how are you doing? Hey, Mac, look who it is. It's our friend Katya. Here, Mac, I'm going to put you behind me because I know sometimes you get excited around people, so I'm going to put you in a sit behind me so I can greet the person and demonstrate an accurate greeting of somebody that I haven't seen in 1 hour. Hey, how's it going?
Hello.
I've only not seen you for 1 hour, so there's really no need for me to be getting crazy excited and losing my mind, right?
Right, no big
Yeah,
deal.
no big deal. I mean, had it been 3 months, or had you just almost had a car accident, heck yeah, I'd be jumping with joy right now to see you. Or if we both won the lottery, yeah, let's do it. But for now, I want Mac to see that we're calm when we meet people. There's really no need to be excited when we meet somebody who's only been gone for a short while. Hey, Mac, you want to say hi? Let's see how he does when she pets him. So I like that his 4 feet are on the floor. He's being very calm. He's giving a little bit of almost a hug there. Okay, mild licking, but nothing too crazy. And he's actually sitting down here. He's sitting down very calmly, and he's actually even potentially was going to move himself into a belly rub there. Now I notice what Katya is doing is she's petting him very calmly, and she's not really even hardly talking to him much at all, or if she is, it's a very calm tone. She's going, good boy. And you can see now he's gone over into belly rub, but it's a little bit of an excited belly rub, so Katya actually didn't pet him there because he rolled over kind of into a playful roly-poly kind of thing. And you could see here he started getting excited. Katya stood up and we just stopped petting him. We don't want him frustrated, and so that's why, you know, we are stopping here, because we don't want him frustrated and going, hey, how come you're not petting me? I'm all excited. Come on, come on, come on. We want him to go, Mac, like, this is not how it works, buddy. And you could see he's going to go back again and try again unless we're clear. Hey, man, you're doing good, boy, but let's go take a nap now and let's process this session we just went over. So after this, we're going to put him in a calm place without any reinforcement where he can really sit and process what we've just gone over in this session. Okay, come on, Mac, let's go. Remember, as always, folks, we don't blame them, we train them, and if we love them, we lead them. Okay, I'll see you then. Mac, no.